Stand by, stand by.
Good afternoon and welcome to our Cisco Small Business UK Facebook Live session, where over the next 30 minutes or so, we're going to chat through small business grants available to you in the UK to help you restart and enable your business. My name is Aine Rogers. I head up small business for Cisco UK and Ireland, and I'm thrilled to host this session today. Joining me are Robert Flood, grant support consultant from the Grants Office, and Scott Macfarlane, who on my team is a small business territory manager in Cisco. Before we get started, a quick reminder that we're going to be taking your questions via chat throughout the session, so please post your questions in the comments. Small businesses are the backbone of the economy and in turn will be the driving force to what fuels the recovery. Technology has carried you through challenging times and now represents a huge opportunity for growth. Representing 98% of all businesses and 60% of the workforce in the UK, to say you're at the forefront of any changes in work styles or consumer dynamics would be an understatement. While the past 16 months have been trying to say the least, they've also been enlightening. Forced into radical changes almost overnight, you have shown the true meaning of resilience, adaptability, creativity, and collaboration. All this while bearing a greater weight of vulnerability. With less cash on hand and fewer resources, you entered this crisis more fragile than larger enterprises. Did you know there was a wealth of small business technology stimulus grants available to aid business recovery? Then if you were aware, was the challenge being finding out what ones you're eligible for and ticking all the boxes that you needed to do to qualify? Well, that's what we want to help you navigate through today. So Robert, if I may come to you first, could you please take us through what type of grants are available for small businesses in the UK?
Absolutely, Aine. Good afternoon to you and Scott and everybody who's tuning in. Okay, and now most businesses in the UK will be familiar with the UK government business support measures, such as furlough, the measures that were brought in to ease and boost resiliency during the COVID-19 pandemic. While restrictions have eased and we're sort of coming out of the other side, there are still some business support measures available and funding that businesses can take advantage of. I'd like to start with the Coronavirus Job Retention Scheme, commonly known as furlough. This has been extended until 30th of September. This is a scheme whereby employers are reimbursed to the tune of 80% of their employees' wages to help them weather the storm of the pandemic. The most recent development in this is that the government will still support 70% of the payment, and the employer, will support the other 10%. So up to an amount of approximately £2,500 per employee per month of furlough payments till the 30th of September. Secondly, there's the Self-Employment Income Support Scheme for self-employed people, freelancers, graphic designers, and members of partnerships. We're now going to be entering the fifth grant in this cycle, which should be available on the gov.uk websites between now and the end of July. Under this scheme, you can be reimbursed up for 3 months of reduced trading due to COVID, or where you were not able to be trading at all. Again, the maximum payment is £7,500 the 3-month period. Finally, I'd like to look at the training and apprenticeship schemes that are available, in particular the Apprenticeship Incentive Scheme, which was brought in, which in addition to the £1,000 that firms can currently apply for hiring 16 to 24-year-old apprentices, on top of this now there is an extra £3,000 for businesses to take advantage of for each new apprentice they hire between the 1st of April and the 30th of September. A great way of upskilling and investing in the digital workforce, Aine.
A nice range to kick us off. And you finished there, Robert, with a great example of how that particular cash incentive might be able to be used, or another way for businesses to invest in skilled workforces needed to bounce back from the pandemic. We understand technology can bring both opportunities and challenges to small business owners, and one barrier around adoption is that shortage of digital skills and talent. 35% of small businesses are planning to invest in upskilling existing employees, and 27% will actually recruit skills to support this digital transformation. Yet right now, only half the businesses that we surveyed are confident that they actually have the skills to increase their use of digital. In light of this, and to help address these issues, we're working together with our channel partners here in Cisco to deliver this value immediately and consistently with IT solutions and managed services that deliver the business outcomes that you need today, as well as the new ones you're going to need tomorrow. And that's independent of what's under the hood. This will help you realise as a small business the value faster, giving you time to focus on those new strategic initiatives that will drive further outcomes for your organisation. We want to help empower your preference for rapidly deployable technology like SaaS and as-a-service solutions. And we're also working on addressing those barriers around tech adoption, around skills and access to finance across investments that we're making and partnerships that we're building. And like we're doing today, building your understanding of the stimulus available, enabling you to restart, rebound, innovate, and thrive. So whether you're looking to upgrade your systems or shift your entire business model to managed service, you know you now have the chance to make significant decisions for change. Would you agree with that point, Scott?
Yeah, exactly. And good afternoon, everyone. So employers can choose how they spend the cash, including on the tools of technology needed to build future together. This is exactly what small businesses need. So they face an ever-expanding portfolio of complex technologies, and businesses can struggle to rein in IT-related costs, including staff-related costs, of course. We understand that only half of small businesses are confident that they have the skills in-house to increase their use of digital skills. With Cisco Designed, we've simplified a portfolio to service small business and small to medium business and made it easier for companies to engage and partner with Cisco. We've simplified IT offering with connectivity, video conferencing, collaboration and security solutions from one single vendor. Small business can count on the expertise of many talented Cisco partners to help you choose and deploy what's right for you. Anya, I know that you've been working closely with customers across the UK. Can you share some of the more feedback that you've been hearing yourself?
Yes, of course. Learnings we have from various research, as well as listening and learning from our customers, is that 40% of small businesses actually wouldn't have survived last year without being online. Now that they're reopening, they're experiencing that reliable connectivity is by far the most important technology for their future. Having the skills to fully embrace that technology-enabled future is a huge priority. With the pandemic accelerating the shift to more online ways of working and collaborating, it's only further highlighted that gap that already existed, as well as moving it up the priority stack. The numbers I spoke to a little minute ago support that. Small businesses are vulnerable from cyber attacks. They need protection for them, for their staff, and for their customers. We know we have to be protected, not just anywhere, but everywhere, irrespective of location, user, device, or connection. And also, a big point that's important for small businesses is around sustainability of their business, but also of that those that they work with. That being said, Robert, could you share what other grants might be available to further support this transition?
Absolutely, Anya. There are some more schemes. Just coming back just for a minute to the training and upskilling points. There's the Kickstart scheme, which is a great scheme, a very easy scheme for companies to apply for, whereby they can hire 16 to 24-year-olds, maybe at risk of unemployment or staying on universal credit too long. They receive a £1,500 incentive to help them upskill and be part of their workforce as we come out of the pandemic. And also, just finally, there's been about £126 million being made available to fund 40,000 more traineeships for 16 to 24-year-olds for 45-day placements in the 2021 to 2022 academic year. And SMEs that take advantage of this will receive a £1,000 cash incentive. More interestingly, an estimated 130,000 SMEs could become more productive by taking advantage of the government's £520 million initiative, Help to Grow, which is divided into two sections. The first section is that of training, management training, giving top managers at SMEs access to the best minds from the UK's top business schools over a 12-week period. The second strand of the Help to Grow scheme for SMEs will be where they can receive expert technology advice and discounted software in the form of a voucher with a value of approximately £5,000 to take advice on technology, to buy new IT software suites to help them become more productive and to thrive as we come out of the pandemic. So some exciting initiatives, Aine.
Thank you. Exciting and significant national initiatives there. And I know Cisco, with many across the industry, are working to support the government through the likes of our partnerships with Be the Business to further help SMEs understand how to gain access and actually what's available to them. That's on a national level. If we take it back a little, many of our customers are actually regional. I understand there may be some regional grants available. If you could shed a bit more light on that one, please, Robert.
Absolutely, yes, definitely, Aine. So there are regional and local grants, the length and breadth of the United Kingdom. These grants are typically made by what we call local enterprise partnerships, which are typically partnerships between local governments, a combined authority, a council, universities, and obviously industry, the goals of which are always to boost local economic growth, to create jobs, and to generally innovate and make the community a better place for everyone. Some examples of grants that are articulated at local and regional level: the University of Derby's Invest to Grow program is one that I particularly am fond of, because it invests in companies that are innovating in new intellectual property, doing demonstration projects, and advancing technology in the Derbyshire and Nottinghamshire area. In addition to that, there's the Business Growth Programme in Birmingham, which is part of the Birmingham City Council funding. The nice thing about these grants for the listeners is that they are always open. They're always applicable to. If they finish on the 30th of one month, then the next round will start on the 1st of the next month. So they're always available for companies to apply to and to get advice on. I could also mention the innovation vouchers for the Greater Manchester area. And then most recently, I found one which is an excellent grant from the Leeds. It's called the Leeds Inward Investment Grant. And that's a fund of between £10,000 and £100,000 for businesses, particularly digital and tech businesses, to locate and relocate to the Leeds region. And it specifically mentions upskilling, purchasing IT equipment, renovating offices, all sorts of very interesting options for companies to take advantage of. So I think, Scott, there's a lot of regional funding there.
Yeah, and that's great, Robert. So we've obviously covered a number of pillars there already, which is really encouraging to see from the government, regionally and nationally. Just going back to one point Aine picked up on earlier, when it comes to sustainability, major corporations have the luxury of in-house sustainability teams. Smaller businesses are not so privileged and often limited by financial constraints, as we know. That said, 58% of small business owners said improving the sustainability of their business is important to them. And what's interesting is even a higher percentage than that have said that sustainability of businesses that they work with is important to them. Would you mind telling us a little bit about what sustainability grants are available, Robert?
Absolutely, Scott. Well, firstly, if I go to national level, there is the Energy Entrepreneurs Fund in the UK, and there's also the Clean Growth Fund. These funds are also targeting SMEs, maybe slightly more complex to apply for, and simply would be, potentially oversubscribed because they are national funds. But again, I'd like to go back to the local and regional levels, because locally and regionally in the United Kingdom, there is a lot of money and funding available to companies to make the move to clean growth, net zero, to become sustainable and energy efficient. Again, these grants can be found in all four corners, so to speak, of the United Kingdom. There's the Decarbonise project, again, from the University of Derby, and these grants can typically fund 40 to 50% of any sustainability projects, up to a value of approximately £20,000, sometimes more. Again, these are grants that we could help strategize on, and then they sort of these grants are representative of most parts of the country. And what's more exciting in a way, well, obviously the funding is always exciting, but in addition, the grants themselves include other services from the grant maker, including on-site visits and audits of your current energy efficiency arrangements, written reports, feedback, suggestions, even training sometimes, and then also networking groups with similar companies, coming back to what you were saying about they like to do business with companies that are also sustainable. So they create fora for companies to go down this exciting sustainability route on you.
Wow, I think that's really powerful. National, regional, multifaceted, multi-purpose, and then covering just a multitude of areas and needs. And I also just love how it supports and encourages community, which, it is what it's all about. You touched on slightly more complex application process for one of the grants, but how easy is it to apply in the main? Is there loads of paperwork to go through? Are there any restrictions? And the burning question is, if I apply today, how long is it going to take me to receive that funding?
That's an interesting question. It's the one that I hear probably the most all the time. So I would like to answer that question in two parts. The first part is for the stimulus funding that I mentioned in the first part of the meeting. This kind of funding is very straightforward to apply for. In fact, being realistic, it's more a question of claiming a payment than it is applying for a grant. As long as you've filed your tax returns with HMRC, or you have the status of being a sole trader or a freelancer or a self-employed person or members of a partnership, you will qualify for that money. So it's very important to be aware of that and to make sure you do claim the funding. Second types of grants that I touched on at local and regional level, the sustainability, innovation, general support, equipment purchasing grants, are also very straightforward to apply for, as long as the company has a company's house registration number, as long as they're physically resident in the place where the grant applies to. She should have 2-3 years past audited accounts, and as long as they tick a few other boxes, which Grants Office can help steer them through, they should be eligible and they should qualify for those grants. I'd just like to make two important points on the question of grants, the local and regional type grants. One is that typically match funding is required. This would mean, for example, on a project of a £10,000 project to enhance the sustainability of your business, the grant maker would only fund £6,000 of that. The other £4,000 would have to be found by the applicant, I guess typically via a bank loan or using asset financing, equity financing, other financing methods. And then secondly, which is actually related to this, is the other important point is that grant funding for projects is typically dispersed in arrears. This means the project has to be complete with proof of invoices, with paid invoices to be presented to the grant maker. But obviously, the grant funding agreement will have been signed between both parties. So this can be used as collateral to collateralize the whole project build and help the company build up. And so the main point is that just be aware of these points to go through, and then the Grants Office can definitely help steer you through these points, Anya.
Okay, so quite simple, few nuances in there, but it's really great to hear the support of the Grant Office to help the businesses make sense of it. A valuable resource, I'm sure, for anybody trying to navigate it all. Building on this and access to finance, Scott, I wonder, could you touch briefly on the finance packages available from Cisco, obviously independent of government stimulus?
Yeah, absolutely, Sonia. So on top of the grants available, Cisco Capital for Small Business offer many financing options to help your business get the equipment and the solutions that you need when you need it. So you can choose from a predictable payment schedule, no upfront costs, rates as low as 0%, terms and conditions apply. You can also opt for a 90-day payment deferral option, so giving you the opportunity to bring forward planned budgets as well. Of course, if you need any guidance on this at all, we have a dedicated resource at Cisco Capital to support our small business customers. They can create a tailored payment plan to suit your own individual needs, so you just need to ask.
Thanks, Scott. I think it's so encouraging to see when industry and government are developing complementary support and options for small business. Pre-COVID, many were already pioneering the use of tech, but we've seen that shift so much more to entirely digital over the last year or so. Now, as businesses in the UK open, whether it be a physical or metaphorical door again, those same businesses are looking at what they want to keep from that model and how they use technology with intent rather than out of the necessity of an emergency. So we've conducted some research across the segment and found that 42% of businesses are saying that their customer base has actually expanded thanks to being online. From a people perspective, owners and entrepreneurs are planning to use technology to help to support new working patterns for their staff. 39% of them saying employees will have that greater flexibility to work not just from home, but from anywhere than they did before. And offering that flexibility has to be a big attraction and retention point for talent. I think these stats really show that this hybrid way of working is not short term and something that all businesses, not least small, should be planning for accordingly. Interestingly, we at Cisco have led with this hybrid working message since back in 2008. But Scott, could you share a little bit more on new ways of working, please?
Yeah, absolutely. And remote working continues to dominate the business landscape, as you said, Anya. We know that most companies plan to shift employees to remote work permanently. Global Workplace Analytics actually state that 30% of the entire workforce worldwide will work from home at least a few days a week. So hybrid working is the future. It's already become the norm for many of us as well. And another fact, in fact, 87% of employees in the UK hoping for a choice in working location as restrictions ease. So this may be daunting to some business owners. You don't have to be IT experts to set up a hybrid office. Cisco Work Your Way solutions can deliver collaboration, the networking and the security solutions that your business needs. We know that 58% of small businesses see security as one of the biggest challenges they face.
Thanks, Scott. I think that stat only adds to the point on vulnerability from cyber attacks I mentioned earlier, and delighted to have Work Your Way solutions as that a la carte menu for small businesses to choose from what you need depending on your situation right now. But look, that's a lot of information for anybody to digest in a short amount of time. And I can see the team have been working through your questions on chat. But if you haven't had a chance to pop your question in, please do so now. And if your question hasn't been answered, the team have them all noted and they will answer them directly. Before we wrap up, I might come back to my co-presenters for some final thoughts. I'm a big fan of the power of three. So 3 each, if you like, and I'll kick off with Robert, please.
Thank you, Anya. My first one would be the stimulus money is still there. It's going to be there for another 3-4 months, possibly longer. Please check this out, see what you're eligible for, and make sure you claim the money to help grow your business. The second point I would make is please contact the grants office. We can help steer you and guide you for all of this local and regional funding I was mentioning earlier. We can help with the research phase, the strategy phase, and the application phase to make your business more resilient moving forward. And finally, best of luck to all small businesses. Ironically, sometimes out of strange situations, opportunity can be found. And if the move to digital and technology comes as a result of the pandemic and helps reinforce businesses of tomorrow, then that can only be a good thing. Thank you.
Thank you. Scott?
Yeah, and I guess I would just like to reiterate that with Cisco Designed, we have a portfolio of solutions which are tailored to address every need of a small business. Don't forget that the financing options are available through Cisco Capital with flexible payment terms. And I guess finally, you have a team of dedicated resource and a fantastic partner community to support and guide you in how technology can make your business thrive. We're ready and we're willing to help.
Thank you both. I hope the last 30 minutes or so have shown just how much there is available from government and industry, helping you break down those barriers around tech adoption and how technology can really deliver as an enabler and an enhancement to your business as opposed to a business cost alone. By making use of the grants we've shared today and working with Cisco, we can help you and your business. To simplify more of the complexity, of which there is plenty, we've developed an ebook to help you further make sense of the noise. We've aptly named it Time to Thrive, a small business recovery guide. That's available now on the Facebook page, and it's dropped into the comment section here as well. This guide is filled with industry insights, helpful resources, and stories of innovation to empower you to emerge from this crisis with a business reframed for future growth. We want you to see and try our technology before you make any decisions. So please visit our website and request a callback for more information to hear more on these trials and demos that we have available to you to allow us bring the value of technology to life. Through our website, you'll gain access to our dedicated team of resources who are there to support you on your recovery and rebound through this pandemic and into a truly digitized future. Between survive and thrive, there is a bridge. Why not set foot forwards to a recovery like no other? It's been a huge pleasure for me to host you this afternoon, and I would like to thank my co-hosts, Robert and Scott. Thank you so much. And to you, thank you for your time today, and I hope to see you again in the near future. Take care.